Oh no!
Do not offend me. I don't need to prove nothing. I believe so much in myself and I have a bulletproof mind, and when I go out there I know what I'm able to do. And I do it good. Because I have a vision, I have my confidence, and I believe in myself. People call it arrogant, I call it confidence.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Abyss here, and welcome to my Kuva Sobek build video. If you enjoy the video or find it helpful at all, leave a like, subscribe, helps me out. And yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the build. Alright, for the first build that I'm going to show you guys is going to be a acid shells build. As you can see, I got a toxin variant for the Kuva Sobek. The percentage was kind of trash, but I mainly got it just so I get toxin built in. So this is the build that I'm using for my acid shells build. I do have 3 builds that I'm going to be showing you guys, as you can see. I have a crit hunter munitions build and a raw damage build. If you are wondering which status you should get on your Kuva Sobek, I would say if you have a Riven, here's the Riven that I'm using, multi-shot toxin punch through. As you can see, mine has toxin on it. I got this after I got toxin on my Kuva Sobek. So if you do have a toxin Riven, I would say go with like a cold as your status instead of toxin, but if you don't have a Riven, I would say go with toxin. It's probably like the safest status you can go with. The arcane that I'm going to be using is primary blight. On toxin status effect, you get crit damage and multi-shot, and it stacks up to 40 times, which is pretty nice. If you don't have a Riven, you can actually just use a Bane mod, like I have here, of extra damage to the Grineer. So don't feel left out if you don't have a Riven, just use this instead, or whatever faction that you're fighting. In the Warframe, I of course am going to be using my Saren. By no means is it the best Saren build you can have. As you can see, I don't have any Forma, so the mods can be upgraded and changed. I do have a few mods that aren't max level, so take it with a grain of salt. All you really need is duration, strength, and venom dose. For the helmet ability, I recommend Roar because that increases damage of your abilities. So Toxic Lash and Spores will be getting a little buff from that. For the Arcanes, I'm using Arcane Energize and Molt Augmented. For my companion, I'm going to be using a Smita Kavat, and I'll show you why. Here's the build. You can pause the video and look at all the mods if you choose. But the main mods that I'm going to be going over is Reinforce Bond. When your companion is at 1200 shields or overshield, your fire rate is increased by 60, and reloading increases the overshields by 150 for your companion. And Tenacious Bond. The first part of the mod I don't really use for headshot kills, reduce recovery. That's not really what you use it for. I use it for when crit chances over 50%, you get a 1.2 final crit damage multiplier. So all you gotta do is add Bite and make sure you're over 50% crit chance, which as you can see, I am at 74, and it's not even maxed. Alright, so those are the builds that I'm using right now. I do have 4 green shards, 2 corrosion, and 2 toxin. So as you can see on the top right, I don't have 1200 shield, so I'm not going to be getting the fire rate buff from that bond mod. So all you gotta do is reload a few times. So now I'm over 1200 and I got this buff for 60% fire rate. This 120 is the crit damage from the other bond mod, and with the crit damage and fire rate, this is how fast you can shoot the Sobek. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, pretty insane. Alright, now, let's get to the damage test. I have level 160 heavy gunners, or corrupted heavy gunners. Pop your 1, pop your 3, then roar. Then you hit someone with your 1. Now all you gotta do is shoot them, and just watch everything else die. They take procs from acid shells, and the 1 also spreads onto them. So after killing 1 enemy, you also wipe out the other 19 heavy gunners right next to him. Let's do that one more time. Let's spawn them in again. I still have the buffs going, so let's just hit them with the 1. Kill 1 of them, and the damage procs will just spread to the rest of them, as you can see. Pretty insane. Alright, let's go to the different build that I have. This one's going to be a crit munitions build. There are a few mods in this build that you can change, but personally, I do like fire rate on the Kuva Sobek. I feel that it fires like a little slow, so adding some fire rate's pretty nice. You can add Amalgam Shotgun Barrage if you like. But if you don't care about fire rate, you can just add a Bane mod. And once again, if you don't have a Riven, you can put a Bane mod in its place, and you can just add Galvanized Savvy. They get more status chance and direct damage per status type affecting the target. But for this build, I'm going to be using Fire Rate and a Riven. I do have a couple other Rivens, as you can see: crit damage, multi-shot, crit chance, crit damage. But in my opinion, I think this is probably the god roll, other than like a crit chance, crit damage, multi-shot, of course. But the punch through and multi-shot toxin helps out with the acid shell build. It also just helps with like line of sight with acid shells, which is pretty nice. But for this build, I'm going to put on the crit chance, crit damage mod, so I get more crit chance and crit damage, but I lose a little bit of base damage. So let's go try this out. Spawn on the enemies. We will get some energy, and same thing as before. Just hold 1, up your 3, up your 4, and just hit them with your 1. And yeah, it just, you know, you can get some one-shots. It's pretty nice. Of course, with this build, you're not going to be clearing hallways like you would with acid shells, but this one would probably be more for tankier targets, or targets with more HP. But yeah, you didn't even really get to see like what Hunter Munitions did there, mainly because I was one-shotting them. So let's try this one more time, but without buffs. So after one shot, let's look at these slash procs. Not the greatest, I'll be honest. But if you get multiple shots and stack up the slashes more, they die pretty fast. And as you can see, the crit charm just popped. We have 37 seconds of it. So now I can get some orange crits, which is really nice. But yeah, overall, Kuva Sobek without the buff is actually pretty nice too. They do die a little slower, as you can see, but I would recommend using it with a Siren, or with, you know, any type of ability that buffs your damage. One thing I do have to say though, is if you're not using Siren, you won't be getting the toxin damage from the 3. So, in order to proc your primary blight, I would recommend using a companion with a weapon like the Nautilus here. You can just build this to have toxin. I have this as cold for my Galaxion, but you can just put it as toxin, and then it would proc the toxin damage, therefore proccing the arcane. Alright, let's go to the final build now. This one is just straight raw damage. I have tried like a few different mods for the last slot, but honestly, these mods are kind of like the core that I've been using. I do viral heat, but the last mod is kind of whatever you want to put. Once your Nightwave is actually leveled up enough, you can actually get the second augment for the Sobek that gives status chance and multi-shot up to 15 stacks. So, for my final raw damage build, that augment's going to be going here. But there are a few mods that you can put in this last slot. You can't put more multi-shot by using like Vigilante armaments, or you can go for more crit chance by using Laser Sight. You could also go with crit damage with Shrapnel Shot on kill, 99 crit damage when aiming for 9 seconds. Or if you really want, you can just put on a Bane mod as well. But I do like Laser Sight. Laser Sight is pretty nice. But if you do want the full damage of a raw damage build, I would say use a Bane mod. Alright, let's get rid of the corrupted heavy gunners, because they are corrupted, so my Grenier Bane mod won't work against them. Let's spawn in some Kuva heavy gunners, which are Grenier. So our Bane mod is going to do a little bit more damage to them. Alright, let's go test out the damage now. Pop your 1, 3, 4, and then hit them with your 1. And they just get one shot. Look at that. One of the downsides of the raw damage build is no Hunter Munitions, so if you're not one-shotting them, you're not going to be getting the slash procs that much, mainly because slash has a 0.6% chance to proc. So the last slot is really up to you. You can add whatever you think the build needs, Hunter Munitions, Bane mod. Alright, that's going to be the end of the video. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe. If you have any recommendations of what your Kuva Sobek build will be, put it down in the comments below. Let me know. Alright, I'll catch you guys later. Have a good day or night, and I will see you guys later. Peace.